Hello and welcome everyone, it's me, TheLaval, also known as the Power 2 Duelist, back for you with another video. And today I'll be welcoming you guys to the first episode of Straight Out of the Toolbox, a new series I'll be starting, looking at deck ideas that maybe I had or you guys had that I just hadn't had the time to build. And for this we are going to use Adobe Pro. I'm going to show you the deck real quick in the deck editor, and then we are going to hop into a match against an AI opponent just to maybe show off a bit of basic plays. The deck we're going to be looking at today is of course Rikka, as you can see. My list contains currently out of 1 Titania, Princess of Camellias, just another level 8, need protection for your plants. 2 Hellebore, the Rikka Fairy. She's able to negate effects that target plants if you tribute her from hand or field. Also, if she's in grave, you contribute a plant, special summon her from grave, but she gets banished when she leaves the field, which you can play around because it's an Xyz deck. Then we have Snowdrop, great play enabler, of course a 3-off. You contribute a plant, special summon both her and another plant from your hand. You can target a plant you control. All plants you currently control become that monster's level until the end of the turn. So she's basically a guaranteed rank 8. Then we have Erika, the Rikka Fairy. She can tribute herself from hand or field to let one of your plants gain 1000 attack and defense. And if a plant you control is tributed while she's in the grave, you can special summon her, but she gets banished when she leaves the field. And then we have 3 Mudan, the Rikka Fairy. She is able to special summon herself from your hand if you tribute a plant. And if she gets normal or special summoned by the effect of a plant monster, you can add a Rikka spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which of course also includes her own effect. Which is great, because the Rikka spells are something you do want to search. Then we have 2 Cyclamen. Cyclamen can tribute herself from hand or field to decrease the levels of up to 2 plants on your field by 2. Just a bit of level modulations, but I feel like the other level 4 does the same job in better. And if she's in the grave, because she was tributed this turn, you can special summon her during the end phase, but she gets banished when she leaves the field. Then we have 3 Primula, the Rikka Fairy. If a monster you control is tributed, you can special summon her from hand. And you can target up to 2 plants from you control and increase their levels by 2, which is just amazing and is probably the best form of level modulation the deck has, second to Snowdrop. Then we have 3 Lone Fire, just great being able to thin your deck by just tributing off a Lone Fire for the next one and for the next one, and then going into maybe Titanial or one of the other high level monsters. So it's great for that. Also synergizes with the archetype well because it tributes. Then we have 1 Rose Lover, is just banish it from the grave, special summon a plant from your hand. I just think it's a neat card. You can also probably cut this, as I mentioned. It's still a bit work in progress, but I wanted to share the deck nonetheless. Then we have 3 Rikka Petal. This is undoubtedly one of the best cards in the deck. During your main phase, add a Rikka monster. You can take a Rikka monster from your deck, accept Rikka Petal, and either add it to your hand or send it to the GY. And what's amazing about it is that during your opponent's end phase, if you control no monsters or all your monsters you control are plants, it special summons itself back from the grave, which gives you this kind of Treeborn frog-like tribute engine a few Monarch decks used back in the day, which is kind of cool. Of course, if you have a level 1 monster that is so great, 1-for-1 is an obvious choice. Great card, discard 1, special summon level 1 from deck. It's great. 2 Murray of Greed, it's only a 2-off because it sometimes is able to de-brick some of your worse hands, but in most cases I felt like I would be shuffling away 3 Xyz monsters. Then we have the first Rikka spell in Rikka Glamour. Most of the Rikka spells and traps have this clause that you can also activate this card by tributing a plant monster, which will net you a bonus effect. With Rikka Glamour, you can add a Rikka monster from your deck to your hand, and if you tributed a monster, you can also add a plant monster with the same original level as that Rikka monster you added from your deck to your hand. Which is of course cool, nets you the Xyz materials for a rank 8, and yeah. Then we have one Foolish Burial, just some of the Rikkas have great graveyard effects. You can also send Rose Lover off this to special summon a plant from hand. It's a good card, so why not run it? Then we have Monster Reborn, just currently here for a bit of recursion, maybe revive Xyz materials or something else. Yeah. Super Solar Nutrient does have great synergy with the deck, but as with Moray of Greed, I am not the biggest fan. Just so it's a one-off in my build. Um, tribute a level 2 or lower plant monster, special summon a plant monster from your deck whose level is less than or equal to the level that tributed monster had, +3. Maybe tribute Petal, get into your Lone Fires, or tribute Petal and grab one of your level 4s. So you have quite a few options there, but as I mentioned, I am not the biggest fan of it. Then we have 3 Rikka Flurries. If a Rikka monster you control is tributed, your opponent has to tribute one of their monsters as well. Which is just great removal while you're comboing off, even if it's hard once per turn, so you can't just go into a full combo and your opponent has to tribute their whole board away. But still neat anyways, making your opponent lose resources while you go into further plays is really cool. Then we have Rikka Tranquility. Special summons a Rikka monster from your grave in defense, and if you tributed a monster to activate the effect, you can special summon another plant from your graveyard in defense as well. Mostly able to recur resources for another Xyz, which of course is really appreciated, only 2 off because it's searchable by Mudan. Rikka Sheet. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster can't use its effect on field, and if you tributed a plant, you also gain control of the monster and it gets turned into a plant. But your opponent gets it back during the end phase. Then going into the extra deck, which is quite a mess at the moment. You can also fill this out with a bunch of generic rank 8 Xyz, but keep in mind that some of your effects do lock you into plants or require you to only be playing plant monsters. We have here number 87, Queen of the Night, just a big buddy you want to summon off Straine's tribute effect, so she is currently just a one-off. Sometimes I had moments where I hard made this thing because it requires 3 level 8s, but it's mostly here for the buddy because the deck itself does not offer a lot of attack power. Then we have 3 Teardrop. She's our main monster, 2 level 8s. Detach a material, target a monster on the field, that monster gets tributed. This is a quick effect if she has a plant as Xyz material, which of course is a great way of interrupting your opponent. And if a monster is tributed, she gains 200 attack for each monster tributed, which sometimes can make her a bit bigger. Using Erika on her instantly makes her 4000 attack points large, which is kinda cool. Then we have Kanzashi. Kanzashi revives a monster from either graveyard if a monster is tributed. And also if a plant monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can tribute a plant monster from your hand or field instead, which is neat protection, and making her alongside Teardrop just makes for a very dynamic duo that is able to give your opponent quite a bit of trouble. Then we have Straine, the Rikka Queen, rank 4, 2 level 4s. You can detach a material from her, then target a plant or a Rikka card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. And if she, while she has Xyz material, is tributed, you can special summon a rank 5 or higher plant Xyz monster from your extra deck or graveyard and attach her to that monster, which, of course, as I mentioned, nets you, in most cases, Queen of the Night. Then we have 2 Aromaseraphy Jasmine. She's just here because she's a great generic plant Xyz link monster. Great arrows. You can tribute a monster she points to, special summon a plant from your deck in defense. Of course, great synergy with the deck in that case, so you should definitely pick her up. Then we have 3 Starboy. He's just kinda here to fill out the remaining extra deck spaces. As I mentioned, you wanna maybe look into running a more plant-based deck. He's an Aqua, so that doesn't quite work, but the water boost is kinda nice, and also the recursion when he's destroyed. Then now going into the side, some cards you might consider when building this deck yourself are of course generic plant support cards like the other plant princesses like Talaya, Marinia, and Cherubime. All level 8s that you can maybe switch out for Titanial. I just think Titanial is the best one, but feel free to run what you think is the best one yourself. You can of course stock up on more Super Solar Nutrient if you feel like you can work with that a bit better than me, but I just am not a big fan. If you want to go a more going first focus route, Polynosis is a great counter trap that is basically, I think it's almost a Solemn Judgement. Yes, I think it's almost a Solemn Judgement because it does not negate monster effects. It negates normal or special summons, spell or trap card effects by tributing a plant, which of course has great synergy with your deck and is maybe something that if you want to go more control or going first heavy, that you can definitely run. You can also include a small generator package with Mardel, Generator Boss of Light, because she is a plant, and if she is normal or special summoned, you can add a generator or generator card or a plant monster from your deck to your hand, which is of course neat. If you're running that generator package, of course, include the field spell. Just if your opponent starts playing, you can summon a generator monster from your deck in defense, which of course nets you Mardel and the Surge. If you go a bit further in that, you might even end up to be able to make True King of all Calamities, which is a very scary card in the current format. So that can net you a win condition coming off of True King of all Calamities. Terraforming, just an obvious pick if you're playing a field spell, but I currently do not run the generator package in this, but it's still a worthwhile option. Then I've heard good things about Sylvans in this deck. I haven't really tested that myself, but if you are maybe a bit more versed on the Sylvan cards, you can still look into those, because the Sylvan draw spell is very, very good, I must say. Draws 3 cards. If you have a Sylvan card in hand, reveal 2 and place them on top of the deck, which is just a great archetypal draw spell in general. So you can probably put some Sylvans into this deck and make that work. And talking about plants and not talking about Synchros is kinda unfair, because Spore is a great tuner. Even though we lost Glow Up Bulb, I think you can still work in some plant tuners in this deck and maybe go into Black Rose Dragon, I don't know, or some other Synchro monsters that the deck might be able to make. But those are just a few general thoughts I had when constructing the deck. Also, whereafter you have a great level 1 in your deck, so just searching out more copies of that is always appreciated. So that was the deck. I will quickly jump into a match against one of the Edo Pro bots, and I'll see you then. So let's get over there. So here we are in the duel against the AI opponent. Quickly gonna lose rock, paper, scissors here. He's probably gonna make me go first then. But this is looking great indeed, because we're going to normal summon Petal. Use Petal's effect to pick up a Hellebore, which we are then going to use in combination with Snowdrop to special summon. Because we tributed a monster, we can special Primula, which we are then going to use Snowdrop's effect, make everything level 8, so we can use Primula and Hellebore to go into Teardrop, and from there on out we can pass turn. Now of course, the deck I'm playing against is not the most competitive one in any stretch of the imagination, but he does play some big blowout cards that can sometimes turn rather toxic indeed. I'm going to now activate the Erika from my hand, and that is going to destroy his Decode Talker. End phase, of course, I only control plants, so Petal is gonna come back, which will help me going into my next turn, which will be that I activate Petal. So I can add Mudan, because I already have the Erika in grave, I will now activate Mudan, tribute the petal to special summon Mudan, which is going to trigger a lot of effects at the same time. Not only will Mudan activate her effect, but also the Erika in grave and the Primula I had in hand. It's going to let me Primula, Erika, Mudan will search for a Rikka sheet in this case. He's going to de-barrier me. Okay. Not cool. Okay, so we are going to use Primula and Mudan to make Jasmine. Jasmine's effect will activate, so we tribute Erika to special summon out a Lone Fire Blossom from the deck, which Teardrop's effect is still negated. Going to tribute that Lone Fire just to deck thin. Just get out the other Lone Fires, maybe increase of chances of going into drawing into something usable on the next turn. And the last one I am summoning will of course be used to get out Titanial, which is going to form an extra layer of protection here. Also neat thing, if Teardrop wasn't negated here, I tributed a total of 4 plants just in that last play, so that would have been 800 extra attack points for her. Setting the sheet, we are moving into battle, and if he does not have a response here, which Mirror Force is, Mirror Force does not target, so we are going to lose our board here, which is kinda sad. Normal summon the Rom Claudia to get back some of his resources. End phase, important thing. Petal returns, which as I mentioned gives this deck quite a bit of staying power, because I'm still able to continue on playing. Foolish Burial is a great draw in this situation, because I'm going to use that to mill Erika from my deck, activate Petal, to search out Mudan again. And now I'm going to try the same thing as I did last turn, tributing off Petal for Mudan's effect. In this case I'm going to use Mudan. Then I am going to chain the Erika in grave and grab Rikka Flurries. Activating Flurries and then using Mudan and Erika to go into Kanzashi. I'm going to make use of that Rikka Flurries by tributing Snowdrop for Hellebore. So he has to first of all tribute one of his monsters, and then I'm going to chain Kanzashi's effect, detaching Erika to grab back Snowdrop, which is of course gonna net me another rank 8, and I can circumvent the floating effect of Rom Claudia by tributing it away. Now moving in a battle, Kanzashi attacks, and she will attack for game because I still have one Erika in hand. And that was game 1. Quick and easy, just click inside deck complete here so we can get this over with. Not wanna make the video too long. Yeah, this is going to just normal summon, Rikka Petal, activate the effect to grab a Snowdrop, which I am going to add to hand. I could have also discarded Erika here for the added protection, but I just want to make from Mudan. Yeah, but making Teardrop here just so I have the interruption. Dark Hole. Not good. But I think we can just stay calm here. Petal is gonna, of course, come back in the end phase. Flurries is a very good draw in this situation. And that is going to get met with an MST. Petal is gonna get striked. Where are we going from here? So I'll just use Monster Reborn to grab back Titania. Enter battle, try to get rid of this Honeybot. He does not have the Mirror Force this time. And as you can see, he's just playing a lot of generic, huge blowout cards, but we can, with the added consistency of Rikka Petal, very easily play through this. Now I'm going to do not take my chances, mill the Erika, activate Mudan, tributing off Petal. So the Erika I just milled will of course activate, and Mudan will use her on summon effect to grab me. I'll just go for Rikka Flurries in this case. I already have a lot of monsters in grave. He's going to de-barrier me out of Xyz, which is fine, I think. Then I'm going to enter battle, swing over that Honeybot, and I think next turn we can go for game. Of course, end phase is going to activate Petal in grave to come back. Nice draw, by the way. Activating Petal here, grabbing a Snowdrop. Then we are going to make Kanzashi with those two, which is met with a Bottomless. Not cool. But I'm just going to use Kanzashi's effect, tributing off the... Ooh. I think I just go for the Petal I have in hand. Then use Kanzashi's effect to detach Erika and grab back a Snowdrop, which is of course gonna have its effect negated. But it enables me to go into Teardrop, and then I'll just activate Tranquility, tribute a plant, grab back Erika and the Teardrop, so that Teardrop gains the added attack, and that will be it. I can of course still boost with Erika, but that doesn't matter at this point because that is the match, and that will be it for this video. I will thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy this new series. Probably will put a timestamp at the beginning of the video when I get into this duel. And as suggested by one of you guys, I will leave a Google Docs link in the description below where you can download the YDK file for this deck. So, getting back to the outro, I will thank you guys very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.